Right. Okay, I just see that we are live. That's very welcome from my side, at least. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2021 Race 9 season presentation. We are live for the first time, and for the first time ever in the league, and it's gonna be a new thing, not for us, in certain ways, and perfect. Chat's already alive as well with some very funny comments. Okay, let's get us underway. What is up on our agenda today? The 2021 Race 9 season presentation. We are going to give you a quick run through the series, as you can say, key facts and calendars for all upcoming series and championships, and events at the very end after the championships. And then we're going to do the rulebook changes and some other information for you guys, for team owners and drivers all together. If you guys have any questions, just post it in the live chat. I'm gonna check it in and hope to answer all questions as we roll. And yes, perfect. So let's get started. First one to start the series is the IndyCar and the Indy Lights Championship. I should say, are the IndyCar and Indy Lights Championships in plural, as we're going to do both at once. They are connected together, and they're going to implement a ladder system for the first time here at Race 9. All series, of course, both series will run on Automobilista 1, and we will run 14 races in IndyCar and 10 in Indy Lights. Indy Lights going to happen on the same day as IndyCar. As you can see already on the screen, this are the key facts. Full year calendar spanning from March to September, obviously. You're going to have 3 championships in the IndyCar Championship, which is drivers and teams and engine manufacturers. The engine manufacturers will, as usual, be just cosmetic. They will have the same engine file, the same files. So there is some sort of balance of performance implied. It is basically a drivers' championship, of course, managing as well from the team's perspective. We're going to do the races of both series on Sunday evening. First, we're going to do Indy Lights and then Indy Cars. And we're going to have also different aero packages and upgrades for each event. Most notably, of course, ovals, road courses, street circuits, and stuff like that. Yes, that's basically it. Of course, we're going to do Indy 500, some sort of Indy 500, and it's going Freedom 100 for each respective championship, which means that we are actually going to have a qualification day, which is separated from the Indy 500 Freedom 100 event. And yes, that's basically it. Noteworthy to mention is that there will be some kind of pre-season evaluation test. Like, for example, if you want to do IndyCars, you have to do some sort of hot lap event or participate in some sort of hot lap event and then see where you go. If you're able to qualify for IndyCars or if you have to go into Indy Lights, full details on all that will be revealed later on. Of course, as usual, as we're coming close to the signing of the homepage. That's bad news, Alessio, if you pray on Sundays. Also, my name is written with a C. Okay, important rules and regulations. Drivers can inscribe only one of both championships, as said before, via a hot lap qualifier system. And Indy Lights Championship drivers are, of course, allowed to race as a substitute in the main championship, the IndyCars Championship, for selected number of rounds. And yes, teams are allowed to field cars in both championships, of course. And yes, 4 drivers per team. As you can say, B teams are allowed a limit of 1 driver per B team, which means you can have multiple B teams like Team 1, Team 2, Team 3, or red, orange, yellow, or however you want to name it. However, of course, B teams have to carry a similar name to the A team, as shown in the example here of Andretti, Harding, Steinbrenner, Motorsport, and IndyCar. Drivers are allowed to switch teams mid-season, unless they are team owners racing for their own team. And of course, there's no balance of performance going to be added for neither between drivers or yes, for drivers or cars, of course, as cars should be equal. Um, okay, that's basically it, chaps. Still alive, perfect. When does the season start? Good question. We're gonna do a full calendar reveal later on the homepage. Actually, I think the Indy Lights, the IndyCar, basically all championships should already be on our homepage. If you visit race9.eu and click on the respective calendar or series, you should see the calendar already. Yes, perfect. It's already there for all championships, which means we can deal with that for IndyCar and Indy Lights and move on to the next series. Oh yeah, sorry. Here's the calendar as well, once again. So quickly, as you could say, shared events for the Indy Lights Championship with the IndyCar series, and Indy Lights skipping some rounds of it, and that's basically it. Of course, we are not affected by the pandemic, so these dates are kind of fixed, and we don't have to move them. Yes, that's exactly on the website, Sven. Thank you very much. If someone can link the website in the chat, we really appreciate it, because I forgot to do that and actually would focus on the stream. Okay, moving on to the next series to get this finally out of the way. We're going to do a Super GT Championship with 2 classes, which I come later on to. It's based on the real life counterpart, of course. We're going to do 10 races, 250 kilometers and 300 kilometers in distance, respectively, on Assetto Corsa. It's going to be a half-year calendar, starting from March to July, just ending before the summer break comes in. We're going to have only a drivers' championship, and race times will be Saturday evening, you say. 2 classes going to be GT 500 and GT 300. We are still currently testing how everything's panning out in between these different cars. Of course, we're going to have the regular entrance in GT 500, which means Nissan, Honda, and Lexus in this case. But you can also find that already on the homepage. The full car list is already there, which should be. I shall correct that for the next time. Yeah, rules and regulations. Once again, teams are allowed to field cars in both classes, which means that you can do GT 300 and GT 500. 1 driver per team or per entrant, that should be said. B teams are allowed at a limit of 1 driver per B teams. Basically, like some of you guys know the process already. It's also written down below. I have to carry a similar name to the A team. For example, TGR team, AU Toms, and Keeper Toms in Super GT. Sorry. Drivers are allowed to switch teams mid-season once, unless they are team owners racing for their own team. And mid-season car switches are allowed once within class, which means you can switch from GT 500. In GT 500, you can switch from a Honda to a Nissan once a year, but not after that. Okay. Yeah, also that's gonna need a new entries, which means a new team, basically. There's no BOP planned, at least for now. And as written at the very end of the page, you can find the car list already on our homepage, race9.eu. Okay, that's going to be the calendar. We're going to do 2 circuits twice, which means we're going to start off with Fuji Speedway, then go basically handle off all Japanese circuits that have some decent quality. And yes, basically that's perfect. Then we're going to do an international part of the season. Sorry, was slightly distracted with Buriram Sepang, and then moving on to Germany for the first time, basically leaning a little bit into the DTM, abandoned DTM Class 1 concept, but that's just a nice addition in my very honest opinion. And we're going to see how things handle out in Super GT as well. Okay, that should basically be it for now for Super GT, and we move on to the next championship. which is the RACE9 Sports Car Championship for the first time on R Factor 2 plus, which means you need the R Factor 2, of course, the game, plus the GT3 car pack DLC, and everything around this series for 2021 will be around the IMSA series, which of course gonna start their season later today. We're gonna have one race at 9 events, various lengths. Yes, full year calendar spanning from March to October. 3 classes: DPI, LMP3, GTD, which are of course GT3 cars, and 3 championships as usual. Drivers, teams, manufacturers in all classes. Car list is already on our homepage, if I'm not completely wrong. Yes, it is already. Perfect. Yes, race times are going to be Sunday evening, just like IndyCar and Indy Lights, but on different dates, so they don't conflict with each other. Here we go. As we're going to do some endurance races in the season, we're going to have a limit of 2 drivers per car. Of course, 1 driver per car is also allowed, and 2 cars per team. 1 B team is going to be allowed within the same class. Teams are allowed to compete in all classes at the same time. So basically, any team can have at maximum 8 drivers in. Sorry, what's my math is going horribly wrong right there. Sorry. Yes, Manuti 381. Yes, GTD is GT3. There's not gonna be no BOP in the prototypes, but perhaps in GTD. We're gonna still have to test that. And yes, right. Sorry. Moving on to the calendar. Apparently, my voice is always breaking down when I do these kinds of presentation videos. Last year happened as well. And I'm just not used to talking for so long, ever since the pandemic, I guess. Okay, you can see we have 9 races, which of course will mark the end with a 6-hour race at the Michelin Raceway at Road Atlanta. Also, we're gonna have a GTD only race at Lime Rock Park, which is round 3. And we're gonna start off the season with a prototypes race only at Daytona International Speedway, which means only DPI and LMP3 will be allowed right there. Yes, Pablo, I'm actually dying right now, as usual. Okay, so that means I have to hurry up, unfortunately, and we're gonna skip right through the last championship announced. It's gonna be the NASCAR Championship, also for the first time on Automobilista 1. We're going to do 12 events around various lengths. Full year calendar span from February to August. And race time is going to be Saturday. Jesus Christ, sorry. Going to be Saturday evening. Same as Super GT, but also on different dates. And so there will be no conflict in between these series. So everyone can do these series at once. Yeah, Alessio, and thank God I have had COVID already behind me, and yes, fat car. You can say maximum of 4 cars per team, no B team allowed. Of course, no different manufacturers per entry. And that's basically it. No BOP allowed. And we're going to skip through the calendar. Sorry for breaking down already. It's going to be a tough 2021, I guess. As you can see, we got, oh, sorry, that's the wrong calendar, actually. That's the old one. I haven't updated it. But you can find the correct, oh, Jesus Christ, the correct calendar on our homepage at race9.eu. As usual, the dates are the same. The circuits are slightly different. So, and then moving on to the events, which is going to be at first the Macau GP. We have not decided yet which sim we're going to do. Um, we will also certainly have the Guia race of Macau, which is jury cars and the Formula 3 World Cup, plus eventually more categories. It's still a long way to go how to decide on that. And you can see all necessary information. It's, of course, in early November as usual. We cannot make Macau multi-class race, unfortunately, but that's basically right. Okay. So we're going to try to keep it as real or as close to reality as possible. Of course, we are sim racers, and this means we have to try hard for reality, right? Okay, event two is the Kyalami 4.5 hours. We're going to do it on Assetto Corsa Competizione at the very end of the year on December 10th and 11th, which means, of course, we're going to do GT3s. No GT4s, and yes, that's basically the very end of the year, and you can see all details already on screen, and that should basically be it. Yes, beers would be a good option, I guess. So that's it. That's basically it. Already rushing through everything, and we just gotta keep it short and simple. To finalize it, these are the rulebook changes that are coming up for this season, which means most importantly, each team owner has to race for his or her own team now, or if anything else, if you identify as something in between. Yes, so no team switching anymore if you don't own a team, and yeah, that's basically it. Penalty points are also introduced. Some of you guys already got penalty points. Is Alfie here in chat? Anyways, yes, you can see these penalty points are shared across all series, basically like the FIA penalty points. And yes, we shall see what's coming from this and how penalties are going to go over the season. Warnings are still given, of course. Most of us already got rising in the GT4 Cup are have still already got warnings, but they don't contribute to penalty points in any way. And yeah, that's basically it. Yes, remaining information, final point for today. Sign-ups for the series will start soon on our homepage only, of course. We'll do an announcement on Discord in time when it's ready. Few technical details to be solved right there on that, but basically the sign-up process is already known to guys who have been with us in the community for a bit. Series downloads will also become available at the same amount of time. Thank you, Felipe. Felipe. Um, Thank you for your appreciation. Really, that makes me happy. Also, it brings me my voice back, apparently. And yes, by a last point, we will of course go back to live streaming the races. We're gonna have some commentary, hopefully without me dying, as I will commentate some of the races, and they will happen on Twitch for the first time. Just as you can see, we're already on Twitch now, and they will be later re-uploaded to YouTube, so you can watch it on both platforms, of course. Yes, that's basically it for today. If you guys have any questions, we will answer any questions in Discord, on YouTube, in the comments, mostly in Discord, of course. And yeah, basically try to go back to the regular process as usual, as fast as possible, which means season preparation, getting everything underway, and then we are looking forward to finally get started properly here at RACE9. And thank you everyone for your attention. Thank you all for staying with me for today and through my voice breaking down as usual. And hope to see you all on track very soon. Next race, of course, going to be the GT4 Cup, the fifth round of the championship before we switch on to TCR once again, and then I already start off with the NASCAR preseason test. Okay, perfect. Thank you guys for joining me today. Thank you, Carlos, for setting up all the stream stuff, and see you all very soon.